Today we are in the 21st days of nomination of members of parliament who have been nominated by the Electoral Commission, and they started campaigning last month on the 10th, and today we are in 21 days. And in Lango we have 129 duly nominated candidates in 31 constituencies, and Lira City is one of which, with 10 nominated candidates. And out of these 10 candidates, we have 3 ladies, and these 3 ladies include Dr. Jane Rosa Chenguchero, who is the Minister for Health, and she is aspiring to become the woman member of parliament for Lira City, and she is also the chairperson of NRM structure. And also we have Betty Amongi, who is the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, who shifted from Oyam, and she is the Member of Parliament for Oyam South, directly elected Member of Parliament. And another person is Acheng Patricia Ogwang, who is on independent ticket, aspiring to become Member of Parliament for Lira City. There was allegation made that Betty Amongi, the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, accused Dr. Jane that she has fired over 80% of the members here in Lira City. And this morning, I'm privileged to have Mr. George Okot, who is going to take us through about this allegation. George, could you please tell me what is your position over this allegation?
Uganda oye, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni oye, Dr. Jane Rosa Chenguchero oye, all the NRM flag bearers oye. Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, viewers. Yes.
Tell me about this allegation. What is your position as NRM party?
As NRM party, we have our candidates well positioned. We have launched our campaigns for Honorable Dr. Jane Rosa Chenguchero on the 19th, as per the harmonized schedules. And this campaign was launched in a ward called Boke within Lira City. The position on the allegation stems way back from a clip which we saw emanating from one of the national TV stations in Uganda, whereby Honorable Minister Amongi Betty Ongom made an allegation that Honorable Dr. Acheng Jane Ruth Ochero, the flag bearer of the National Resistance Movement for Lira City, has already fired over 80% of the NRM chairpersons. We disown this allegation. We distance this allegation. We term this allegation as baseless, unfounded, and holds no water, and is intended to gain cheap popularity in Lira City. Thank you.
Okay, for your information also, we are also invited the spokesperson for UPC, Walter Minyang, to be part of this discussion. I hope he's still on the way coming. Now, this allegation, what are you going to take? Which step will you take concerning this allegation?
We have already issued a press statement. We issued a press statement on the 18th in response and to disown this allegation. 1, Dr. Jane Rosa Chenguchero was duly elected into the office as the NRM chairperson of Lira City. She was elected on the 23rd of May 2025. Since the assumption of office, she has never constituted any disciplinary committee meeting against any claim. The members and those who are claimed to be the chairpersons have got named. We challenge Honorable Amongi Betty to adduce the names of the chairpersons who have been fired by Dr. Jane Ruth Achengochero, the chairperson. Since then, the NRM office has never received any claim to the said effect. There's a procedure within the NRM party. What we are well aware is that within Schedule 4 of the NRM Constitution states the code of conduct, and this code of conduct, every member of the party subscribes to it. Within Schedule 7 and 8 states the composition of the disciplinary committee in the event that there is any claim or any member is at fault and has to be within the what produced before the disciplinary committee. Now, these chairpersons, if they were really at fault and they needed to be within the disciplinary committee, there's a procedure. If a member, automatically the chairperson becomes automatic member of the disciplinary committee or the city executive committee. In the event that there's any conflict of interest and avoidance of conflict of interest, this matter would be forwarded to the National Disciplinary Committee. And to the best of our knowledge, nothing of sort has ever taken place. No complaint, no constitution of a disciplinary committee has ever taken place. Thank you
so much, George. What issues are you handling now that will benefit the community of Lira City as NRM political party?
As NRM political party, we are protecting the gains. The gains from the 1986. Gain number one is the peace and security. The peace and security to our wananchi, the peace and security to the property of our people, the peace and security to the health of our people, the peace and security to the food of our people, because there's also an insecurity that affects the household in nutrition. When you don't have food basket in the house, there's also an insecurity in the house. So, as NRM in 1986, this was a liberation agenda number one, why NRA went into the bush. So once we were liberated, the agenda for restoration of peace, law and order took place, and we have sustained it for the last 40 years. I am happy for that. Now, we are having a development agenda. Once we have attained the peace, we have the development agenda. Development in a number of sectors. We talk about the infrastructural development. The government of Uganda and Dr. Jerutha Chegochero, we are advocating for her sustaining her position as the member of parliament for Lira City come 2026-2031, because we have the regional referral hospital of Lira. She has elevated it into a very high level status. I could equate it to the status of Mulago National Referral Hospital.
Thank you. So
I'm talking about the ambulance.
Due to time factor, we cannot continue anymore. That has been George Chukot, the political advisor to Dr. Jane's team. Now I hand you over to Kenneth Odele in Eastern Uganda, Judas Chen reporting for NTV here in Lira City. Good morning.
Very good morning to all our viewers from wherever you are. My name is Odele, live here in Soroti. It's a very bright morning and windy and extremely hot. The temperatures this were hot. So yesterday we had a presidential debate organized by a Nation Media Group, and a number of people watched, and we'd like to thank all those our good viewers who watched the program yesterday. So this morning with the Vice President of the Democratic Front, who is going to give us his views on how the program, the debate went on. So Mr. Pascal Amuriat is also the aspirant for Soroti East constituency in Soroti City. Good morning, Pascal.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
We are fine. So, how did you see the debate yesterday? How did you rate it?
First of all, I watched the debate. My expectations were extremely high, but unfortunately, most of the presidential candidates did not discuss the issues and the strategies for which we expect that the country would listen to and be able to form an opinion in favor of any candidate. Why? It's expected that we would have policy proposals. For example, if you are saying that you want to enhance the creative industry, you want to create more jobs in the agricultural sector, how are you going to, what policy framework are you going to, are there alternative policy proposals? Because if you're going to work within the same policy framework, you're going to work within the same legal framework, then you are likely not to achieve, because the same policy and the same law is the one you're going to use to be able to create a change that you want without necessarily giving us pragmatic solutions. And this is why, for example, in the DF, we have a compendium of policy proposals, a compendium of laws and policies, which we want to change by way of reform, so that as we are delivering on our mandate, we are able to use a legal and policy framework which works for all of us as a country. So, by and large, the expectations are high, but not discussing policy issues. We realize most of the candidates were using sentiments, they were using anger to be able to blame. Of course, I know President Museveni has done a lot of bad things, he also done some good things, but what is important at this point is how do we address these issues? We are going into an election. What proposals are you bringing on board in the agriculture sector? What proposals are you bringing in the health sector? What proposals are you bringing in the education sector? All this, so that the country forms an opinion. If you have alternatives, then even better. And these are the conversations that I expected from our candidates. So somehow, for me, I would rate it. I would put it at 50% from my own part.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, DF is a new party in this country, and it's also a new party in this region of Teso. So, how many parliamentary aspirants have you fielded in for this campaign?
First of all, we have, as a country, we have fielded in 88 candidates for member of parliament across the entire country. In the sub-region of Teso, we have 6 members of parliament candidates, but in the Greater Eastern, we have 18. That is from Busoga, coming this side to Bukedi, and then Teso. So we have, in the shortest period of time that we have been, as a party, the last 3-4 months, our party is only 4 months, but we have fielded a range of candidates. The level of attraction to the party is by far high. I want to say it's the fastest growing political party. And as you can know that we are taking root in Teso, we are taking root in the city, and because of the message, the conversations that we are telling Ugandans, the uniqueness of the transition and the opportunity that the transition presents for us as a country is why many persons, I think Democratic Front offers us an alternative, a better alternative for this country, where we want a dialogue, we want a peaceful transition, we do not want a fraudulent transition, and we want all actors to be engaged in this process. And so, by and large, apart from the members of parliament candidates, we have 48 local government candidates, 13 LC3s, 2 LC5s, and the rest district councillors and parish councillors. For me, this is an achievement in the last 3-4 months in Teso sub-region alone. And so it shows you the opportunities that the message that we have sent out, and people are attracted to the message. And of course,
you are a contestant in Soroti.
Yes.
City East. I think this for the second time.
Yes.
You are vying for the same seat.
Yes.
And the same conditions are still prevailing in this city. You see, NRM is battling with the FDC, which is the largest party in this city. So, what do you have for the people of Soroti City East?
First of all, it is not true that the same conditions in 2022 are the same conditions in 2025. No, it's because there are many things which have changed. The different political parties and the issues, and you know that many have split. Some of them are no longer together. You know that in 2022 there are many things which have changed up to now. So, if you do an assessment, Democratic Front is taking shape and is touching the hearts of the people. The people are saying the alternative in the quest for Soroti City East must be DF. And why? Because of the message that we are offering, the issues for which we are standing with. And for example, our understanding and my understanding of the structure, the size and structure of the East Division, the rural belt issues, the uniqueness of the rural belt, which has inadequacies in comparison to the urban belt, because it's a unique city. It has villages and it also has the urban center. So the issues in the rural are a bit different from those in the urban. So our understanding and telling people that in the rural, you do not have there is no access to basic services, roads, water, electricity, and many other issues that are affecting these communities, land rights, burial rights, And these issues we are telling people, saying, no, I think BF offers a better alternative. When you come to the urban, the issues of taxation, let me just give an example. You have a property in the city, you are paying on the same property, you are paying property tax on the same property, you are paying rental tax on the same property, you are paying ground rent, 3 taxes on one asset. And we're saying no.
Including income tax.
Including income and many others. So what you are in essence telling us, you do not want us to grow. So there are reforms, as I'm saying, there are reforms, a compendium of laws. And this whole taxation question in the urban, the use of the free system for our people in Soroti is predatory. Because if you must pay tax, you must pay for a single item, 18% on the value of the tax, using the free system. And so these conversations we are telling us, we are saying, I think the alternative in this case, in the city, must be BF, because we are offering a list of policy proposals. As a member of parliament, we do not solve problems using our personal money. We use an opportunity in parliament, changing the legal and policy and institutional framework to allow our people to be able to have change. And so when we have these meaningful conversations as a country, and we tell people that there are reforms we already have. We already have 8 bills that are prepared. We're not just saying that we want to do things that are abstract. We already have a list of policy proposals. That's just the governance ones are 8. And if we talk about the others in economics, others in the health, a number of reforms that, so ours is really reform, and we offer alternative. And this is what we are saying. But that be the case, BF is the new force. There's all of it.
Thank you about that. So we have talked about the roles of roles of an MP.
Yes.
Now we have seen this financing of the campaigns. Now we see people having water boozers, people having tents, people having and you're saying those are not a part of but it is a campaign tool. So how do you find the
I agree with you. I agree with you that they are campaign tools, but they are auxiliary. They don't form the main agenda. We do some of those things to our people. If it is supporting social burials and whatever, we can offer that support, but they don't form part of our main agenda. If, for example, water is the question, why do you bring a water bounce? As member of parliament, my role is to make sure that everybody has water in the house.
Thank you very much, Patrick Amburiat, and thank you to all of you, our viewers. I wish you a good day, and back to you at the studio.
All right, welcome back, and many thanks to Kenneth Odele as well as Julius Chen bringing us those on-location reports from Soroti as well as Leader District. Those will be much of the content that we shall be hearing later in the day as the country, of course, inches closer to the general election and also the end of the year. Right about now, it's time for the Kickstarter, and I have with me in studio Farida Nambi. She's the NRM flag bearer for the Kawempe North contest, one that has gone down in the books of history as a real battleground, especially when it comes to who will take it or who has taken it in the past. She's also one of the stakeholders engaged in community work, helping communities align themselves with the transformation agenda, but also looking out for vulnerable persons. And the flagship Nambi Foundation is where much of the work goes on. You're most welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you.
Nambi.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, great.
Good morning, viewers. And because Uganda has made strong strides in the past on HIV/AIDS,
that's right.
I want to say that hope is in the air on the fight or reduction of the deaths in HIV and AIDS.
Great. I'm glad you make that your very first submission before we begin the discussion. And let's stay with that particular story. On the page 3 of the Daily Monitor, Flavia Chomkama, the head of the National Association of People Living with HIV/AIDS, or the networks, has said something that is very disturbing. Community-level interventions are under strain as funding cuts disrupt treatment and outreach. And they are asking for a new model that requires the government to actually pay civil society organizations, particularly the community-based organizations, to lead this intervention. I know you've been following a lot of these interventions and what is going on. What should be the new approach in light of the dwindling funding that is coming through from the donor community?
First of all, on the issue of HIV and AIDS, we started with TASO, then we went to the Research Bureau that is now on Entebbe Road. We now have Uganda AIDS Commission with our Dr. Msoba. And what I think they should be, he has been doing engagements with artists like Joanita Kawalia. So what I want to tell the bodies, the NGOs, associations on HIV to start creating a conversation in the Prime Minister's office, but also with the Uganda AIDS Commission, because now it is the umbrella body, it's the national umbrella body that tackles anything to do with ending HIV by 2030. So I think if we started those conversations, that's my guidance that I can give you. Okay. Because the country has decided to harmonize. There's where they do research from and treatment, and there's where that there's a body that does anything to do with partnerships and on this issue of HIV and AIDS.
Great. Yeah. Your voice on community engagements and challenges is one that holds a good office. What's the message to the Ugandan out there, the citizen? Because at individual level, there's a lot that can be done in reversing the spectre. But many are afraid that Ugandans are no longer fearful of HIV. And that is also to blame for new infections and the inability for us to register enough results as we ought to.
Yes, Uganda has given out statistics that in 2023, the infection rates went up to 38,000 in that year, and that's quite high. I want to commend Uganda AIDS Commission on the status, knowing your status, because 94% at least of the people living with HIV and AIDS know their status, so that's an achievement. But still, we need to look at shifting public attitudes, because HIV mainly is behavior change. This has been drummed up for so many years. So let us look at how we can shift public attitudes, especially to the young generation, because if you look at the infections, what is the age bracket?
The age brackets.
Yeah? What is the age bracket? And then also, I thought about something very earlier on in my first journey in NGO work, in the Nabi Children Initiative, the issue of human values and life skills. We need religious bodies to really step up, culture organizations to step up, because for them they have quick mobilization. They can mobilize people very, very fast. So let them help us. It should be a very active, basically umbrella of so many associations, religious, tribal, but then also we go up down to the community leaderships to tackling the issues of people and how they should behave or live. So it should be, because when you look at the home right now, there are people who are single mothers, many of them from my constituency, Kawempe North and South. But if homes have a percentage of dysfunctionality, for instance, where should the children go? If a child has grown up in a home where there's promiscuity, or any kind of dysfunction, the mindset that that child carries from there into life. And these are children that can marry your daughter in any other given life. So I think right now what we are doing, we know this third term holiday in Kawempe North, it's really long. We are organizing mentorship camps. Those I used to do with Reverend Diana Nkesiga, the former vicar of All Saints Cathedral. But I really call upon anybody who can put funds or who can be second-term holiday and third-term holiday. And let us not even wait for only holidays, because we have people who don't go to school at all.
Yeah.
Like my ghetto people in my constituency, they don't have school. They don't even want to be in school. Many of them don't know the essence. So mindset change is very critical, because people many of our people may not grow up as you and me, but who is going to help them? Nurturing, mindset change, mentorships, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that preamble in light of first World AIDS Day, but also on how youth empowerment is critical in driving national transformation. The question of youth and how to embolden their ability to contribute significantly to GDP was one that came out yesterday as NTV hosted the presidential aspirants, the ones that came through, and the youth dividend is one that ought to be used positively by each candidate. I'll just go through very quickly what the various party pledges are. The National Resistance Movement, your party, says that establishment of regional creative hubs for talent identification is important, increasing support for sports facilities in schools, but also supporting low-income growth at the community level. This has been done through PDM as well as the youth empowerment programs. The Forum for Democratic Change talks about the mandate a percentage of all government contracts to youth and youth-owned enterprises, as well as allocating 10% of all government contracts to businesses that are run and have been formalized by young persons. The Alliance for National Transformation says apprenticeships, industrial placements for practical experience, while the Conservative Party speaks about expanding vocational and technical institutes across regions, as well as a tax rebate system to firms that hire and train youth. I know you're very much inclined to speak mostly about the National Resistance Movement's stance, but please do share with us whether you agree with some of the plans that have been put forth by the various candidates too.
First of all, the issue of youth is very critical. As you know, we are a young country, a young continent of Africa. So youth require to be seen, to be heard, to be mentored. They are there to learn and relearn, you know. So they're open at that. So I really thank the youth for that. What is now our way forward on the issue of youth is the intentionality of empowerment of youth. Intentionality of empowerment of youth. Here I would like to thank the corporations and businesses that have put it to hire young people and train them throughout the years. We've seen this. Many, if it's telecoms, if it's media houses, they start in with so many youth and give them opportunities and exposure. But you know, Uganda has most young people. So there's a lot of more young people that have to be done. But this empowerment really has to start from schools. I'm very glad that we now have vocational schools. We have presidential skilling program, if I'm speaking on the side of NRM. But we have ghetto empowerment programs, if I'm speaking about the ghetto. But before you give someone money in a circle, I'd really appeal to my government to start with training them. Because every business, money has its own rules and principles. So what I see that has been lacking, for instance, you can't just come give ghettos money. You have to start by training the ghettos, do psychosocial support to them, because you know
they have challenges already existing.
If someone who has been in a depot gets money, The first thing will be like 20% or even 50% or even 80% goes to something that is a non-issue.
That's right.
As far as businesses are concerned. So we need to just, the concepts are there, the money is there on the sides, because President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni put 1 billion per division for the young people as far as Kampala is concerned recently when he paid a visit to us in Kawempe. But I would like to write a letter or a report to him and request him that we should start with these people in their own ghetto skilling or training center, because you can't mix ghetto with these normal skilling programs, because their needs are unique and they are also quite unique people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, that is a nice submission. But on the general state of affairs in the country as we head to the election, yesterday's presidential debate gave us so much to chew on with regard with what the candidates are going through. Nathan Andala Mafabi speaking about the Electoral Commission's inability to ensure that there is harmony in as far as the roadmap is rolling out, who is campaigning where, how quickly they move from one place to the other. Talk to us about your take or how you see the progress of the campaigns right about now as we head into what can be described as the proper fire in the kitchen. Parliamentary contestants are also moving around, the presidential aspirants are moving around, local government, that is all happening. What is your take? How do you feel? Are you also, again, in the thick of it? For us, the journalists, we are afraid for Kawempe North because our fingers were burnt, because we were covering the truth and bringing out the facts. Are we safe this time around? You can talk about that.
Actually, I've worked a lot with NTV, with my friend Raymond Tamale and the rest of the journalists down in Kawempe North. The issue of the Electoral Commission roadmaps for presidential and parliamentary activities, these campaign activities, I would like to say that there was streamlining. They called us candidates, like us members of parliament for Kawempe North.
That's right.
We were invited at Electoral Commission. We submitted our draft proposals for where you want to be, when. And then they harmonized. We sat down and we were harmonized. In fact, for me, for Kawempe North particularly, I haven't faced any problem. I haven't conflicted with any of my competition in my journey for campaigning. I'm using door-to-door, very beautiful strategy, because you get to hear and see people in the real sense of seeing them, and that's beautiful. They get to see you, they get to be happy that you're knocking on their door. I have 210,000 voters, but everyone wants you to go to their door and knock it and ask for support. But for where we've reached, it has been beautiful. Now, as far as presidential campaigns, but also I would like to note that it's very tiresome to the candidate, and you have very little time for review and planning. Yes, actually, Electoral Commission, you must give us days to review and plan. Review and plan. Some of us who don't take coffee, it's so difficult. It's very difficult. But for guys who take candidates who take coffee, I'm sure they are.
Now, the issue of electoral violence. I know in the previous session, the one that saw NUP's Nalukola be declared and then named the MP, there was a thinking that violence might deter the opposition, but it also negatively affects the NRM candidates, for that matter.
Okay.
That the police, sometimes being overzealous, inadvertently affects your chances as an NRM candidate. What is your view on that?
First of all, Chris, thank you for bringing that point up. For instance, I'll give you an example of the by-election. I was the greatest victim. You may not believe it, because as candidates, we invest in money, time. We rigorously look for this vote. But the day they hit Nalcola on the nomination, on his nomination.
That's right.
Many of my supporters, some of them were calling me direct. We are not just going to vote for you. It's not you as a person, but we can't vote for a system like this. So I came out vehemently to say that I condemn any kind of election. What I have got to know, for instance, during the recent visit of the presidential candidate, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi in Kawempe, our DPC was stoned. He's nursing a wound on his hand, and his bodyguard is in Bombo Hospital. He was hit by a stone on the head. So I want to say this. Us as citizens, for me as Nambi Farida, I call for peaceful elections. I call for competition that is civil. And I want to know that you could be in Noob and you marry an NRM girl. I mean, there will always be paths that have to cross. And ideally, we are not enemies. We are competing on ideology. I'm selling my ideology, sell yours. I'm selling what I'm going to do for my people, sell yours. So I really, for me, don't think that politics should really come out as a fight or a battle for anything. Now, also the candidates, on the candidates level, let us not incite people's children, because I don't take my own daughter or sons on the battlefront when I'm going to campaign. Many of the candidates don't. That your son is part of that crew.
The procession and
no, we take people's children who believe in our ideology. I've seen some candidates who say wanukufana kuona. I mean, what are you planting in someone's head? They'll pick a stone. So also us candidates to forget, and I want Electoral Commission honestly to summon candidates or to call on candidates to be able to compete in a non-violent manner. I used to like Noop with their message, because always they would call for peaceful competition.
Peaceful competition.
I want them to re-echo vehemently, because we saw people, part of the crowd that came in Kawempe, stone the DPC, and he's the head of police. Yeah, and for sure, these are facts. I'm not putting this up. So let us also mentor our supporters into peace. Let us compete peacefully. Let us go and vote peacefully. Let everyone's voice be heard on that day in a very peaceful manner, because still, we are still people and our paths have to cross. I mean, these are your workmates, these are our neighbors. But if you do not support me, it is okay. I have my supporters, they have their supporters. But let us tell our people to be peaceful this time around. Okay. So I regret what happened to that elderly woman that I saw that was taken to hospital. You know, elderly people, you know, these things of violence, they talk on people who are not even part of that chaos. So that is the danger of these things. But I also want to thank the Ugandan police that they didn't respond with gunshots. They responded with tear gas. But even tear gas, we hope that we do not see it again, especially in our Kawempe North, because that's where we had a by-election and everybody's looking at us as a unique place.
More like the litmus test for what is coming up ahead of January 15th. Now, many times President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has spoken very intimately about the need for the populace to elect members of the National Resistance Movement in order for him to work better and roll out services in any one particular constituency. Kawempe North stands as one of those very foremost geographical entities within the Kampala metropolitan area, but also central Uganda. What are these particular development initiatives, away from what you've been doing in terms of intervening for the vulnerable persons, that you have identified that President Yoweri Museveni can readily support or throw his entire political weight behind? What is it for Kawempe that President Yoweri Museveni will not hesitate to support right away? First
of all, Chris, world over, it is true. If I'm fond of you, Chris, and I know you. If I have a job, I'll take your son. And I don't know whether it's a selfish thing, but it's a natural thing. You're like, and even if you're giving your daughter away, you'd want to give them away to a family that you know or you have a clue on. So going down to politics, if you have a discussion table, it will be easier for people that can discuss to be able to come up with public solutions. I can note that there is no member of parliament that is not given their salary. Whether you people remain in the status I found you, I'll still be collecting my salary, which is not little. You all know what members of parliament get. But what I want to say, the president's message of vote people, because I'm sure you have heard opposition people say we can't go to discuss with him. But we have an instance of a sitting president, and you cannot discuss with him. So how are you going to make progress for the things you want to be done in your constituency or in your area, or the things that you want to, versus a person who can talk to him, who can discuss to him with due respect, because he's the fountain of honor, he's the president, and he's able to grab those things for their constituency. That is a fact. So I want to say that the late President Nelson Mandela said in apartheid, this I'm giving to the opposition people. During apartheid, the President Mandela said in an interview on Oprah, he said that my heart and my emotions told me not to talk to de Klerk. But my brain was telling me that if I do not talk to de Klerk, the death in South Africa, the suffering, the forging a way forward will not happen. So opposition people, or leaders at large, even if I do not agree with you, Chris, mine is like that. Even if I don't agree with you, I know that there's something sensible you can add on to me, so I must give you audience. And that is a principle of good leaders. This thing of Nsasa, and yet you sit in parliament and earn the salary in that government, that is hypocritical. So I want to say that President Museveni now is calling upon us NRM leaders to be in a rujeged, I call it a chain, a good chain that is going to give services to the people. So that message, and because probably he's defeated. He's defeated, and when I look at Kawempe North, one of the things that I'm going to first start with is the lobbying for a ghetto training center, because the depots are growing at a fast rate. Lobbying for single mothers, circle. Lobbying for the youth, circles. Because you look at highly populated people and look for solutions. That is right. And also, we will not stop training, mentorships that will go on, and we are ready and open for partnerships, religious houses, mothers' union, fathers' union, the Muslim leaders, the cultural leaders, to see what we can do for our society.
Okay, thank you very much, Farida Nambi, NRM flag bearer, Kawempe North.
Wish me luck.
Also Chris. the honcho and vision bearer at the Nambi Foundation. No doubt, the best of luck on her side. And indeed, for you that are going to be deciding, be able to make your decisions based on knowledge and understanding. My colleague Coslin Agasaro is in Mbarara, where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected later today. Over the last 2 days, it's been fever pitch as many of the political leaders there prepare for the NRM flag bearers campaign trip. Let's go to Mbarara to see exactly what is happening ahead of that rally.
Very good morning. Thank you so much for watching Morning at NTV, coming to you live from Mbarara City. Now, as you're aware, the presidential candidate for the NRM party is still in his campaign trail here in Ankole sub-region. Last week, just on Saturday, he was in Weju and Ibanda. Today is expected to be in Rwampara, Mbarara City and Mbarara district. If you can look at my background here, these are just a few meters away from where the presidential candidate will hold his February from, is going to hold it at Boma grounds here in Mbarara City. And all I can tell you is Mbarara is yellow. If you that have used maybe the Mbarara Kabale Road, you can bear me witness. We have a lots of decorations around here, Mbarara, the yellow decorations that this has been done, you know, to welcome the presidential candidate. And we hope to see how he will talk to the people and the masses he will address here. Mbarara, I'm informed that Mbarara City and Mbarara District, they will all be here at Boma grounds and will also be in Kampala. But then joining me this morning is one of the supporters, and we want to talk to him and get to know what are those key issues that he feels like the president should pledge to work on once he's trusted again for the next term in office. Very good morning, glad you could join us. Your name and where you come from?
My name is Babateri Kennedy, just a resident of Mbarara City. And today we are set to receive His Excellency Yoweri Museveni. Actually, it's not like it's a rally. This is a homecoming.
This is a homecoming.
It's a homecoming. And when it is a homecoming, we are really excited to receive him. And we're going to appreciate whatever he has done for us. And we expect him to do more in the coming 5 years.
What are those pressing issues that you see in Mbarara City that you wish the president could pledge to work on in the next term?
In the next 5 years, we expect him to work on the remaining roads, and the water has been worked on, but not supplied to all. But at least the project has been done up to Mbarara City. So the water issue has been solved. Now the electricity, we hope it will be also solved in the next coming years. There are some roads which are not worked on, which we are hoping that in the next coming 5 years, she will work on it.
There is an issue yesterday when we had a presidential debate here. I was talking to residents in Kakele, and they said we have insecurity cases here in Mbarara City. What do you want the president to do?
There is no insecurity in Mbarara City. They are just, they call it hiccups. There are no much insecurity. There is no insecurity in the Western region. Those are petty thieves. Petty thieves, we can't call them security slaves. No, those are every step for those kind of thieves. Petty thieves, we don't call them security slaves. Those can be solved by the local people. So the president has no issue on those local security.
Let's talk about when you talked about the roads. How do you think the poor infrastructures in the road network is affecting us as Mbarara City?
Come again?
How do you think the poor road infrastructure, the poor road network is affecting us as Mbarara City in terms of development?
The poor road network?
Yes, yes.
Definitely it affects some transport. And forget about affecting the transport, but it makes the price look late. Yeah, so those poor roads doesn't make the road nice, the price nice. Besides affecting the transport, all the roads must, like feeder roads which are coming in the city, must be worked on. At least every 20 kilometers which are in the city must be worked on, so that the city can be clean. And it must be also lit, that all the electricity lighting on those streets, all those roads feeding the city must be lit with the proper lights, so that those what they are calling the security cannot be there. It's one way to solve the security issues, because those are not such as minor robberies, small robberies, which can be eliminated by lighting the streets.
Okay, thank you so much. As you've heard, this is one of supporters, and he really asked the president to ensure that they work on the roads. We've been in Ankole sub-region also. We talked to the people in Mweju, we talked to the people in Mbarara district last week. But what I can tell you is poor road infrastructure is one of the things that is affecting people here in Ankole. And they wish that the next president, or if they trust President Yoweri Museveni again with power, they wish him to work on the road infrastructure, because if you can look here in Ankole sub-region, mainly here people are farmers. They deal in agriculture, they deal in cattle keeping. So they wish the president, if these are worked on, then development will be in Ankole sub-region. I'll be coming to you live from Bara City in the next programs that we'll be having here. Of course, as I can tell you, what I can tell you right now, security is deployed. There's heavy security here, a lot of deployment here. People are already moving to the bomber grounds to receive, as just like how he said, the homecoming, to receive the presidential candidate. I'm Koslin Nakahira. Very good morning.